been a while since we talked about Canoo, and I'm hoping that this is a sign of good news. There's not been too many updates to cover over the past year, but Walmart actually just announced that they plan on purchasing 4,500 lifestyle vehicles in the delivery configuration, which we're pretty sure is going to end up being the cheapest variant that we talked about last time I covered Canoo, which was over a year ago now, but they want to have a starting price around $35,000. And I admire Canoo for wanting to have such a competitive price point, although there's been a lot of inflation, and I'm sure a lot of suppliers are raising their rates. I wouldn't be shocked if Canoo ends up raising prices in the future. Regardless, though, it seems like a pretty good sign if a big company like Walmart, who has these ambitious zero-emission goals, is willing to sign a contract with a startup like this, because that shows promise. That shows that they believe they will make it to production in the next year, and Canoo says this contract does extend up to 10,000 vehicles in the future if Walmart wants to continue expanding them. So why then, a lot of people are asking, are they choosing to go with the lifestyle delivery variant instead of the multi-purpose delivery van, which is basically like if Tesla made a cyber van, it would look very, very close, I think, to that Canoo delivery van. I'm guessing it's because the lifestyle vehicle production is sooner, and Walmart says they intend on using these vehicles for last mile delivery, so they don't exactly need to be big. In fact, it's probably going to be much more aerodynamic and use far less energy per mile to use the lifestyle vehicle opposed to the delivery van, which is quite a bit larger, and again, production for that is probably not going to start for another couple years, so they want these vehicles soon. And my huge hope here is that this contract and this deal is real, okay? Because I'm a huge fan of the Canoo product. You know, I think that EV market right now is very saturated with all these different companies, both legacy auto and startups, trying to make these electric crossovers, because crossovers are the most popular segment, and everyone just kind of ends up making very, very similar type of vehicles. It's like kind of aerodynamic, but it's got a hatch, and it has a higher ride height than a sedan, and a decent amount of practicality, and then it just comes down to comparing everybody's frunk size. What I like about Canoo is they're trying to solve lots of different problems with a very modular and very unique approach. I don't like weird vehicles for the sake of being weird, but I am a fan of different vehicles that look weird as long as they serve a purpose for looking weird. If they have a reason to look bizarre, then I really start to fall in love with it, because it starts to make me feel like this vehicle is a glimpse or a sign of the future, and I think the future should look like the future. That's why I'm still such a big fan of the Cybertruck design, because it's so different and unique, and that allows them to use more durable materials on the outside, and it allows them to have a more aerodynamic design than every other pickup truck on the road. And it's why I'm such a big fan of Aptera. It's very weird and bizarre looking, but it has a purpose. It's because they're trying to achieve the most aerodynamic vehicle in the world, and they're trying to get the lowest energy consumed per mile. And with Canoo, they've developed this platform for their lifestyle vehicle that they also can easily convert into their pickup truck in the future. Right now, Canoo is hoping to start production on that next year, and they're a startup, so of course you gotta take all of their timelines with a grain of salt, but I think their concept is to try to make a platform that's very upgradable, very modular, and make it fairly easy to pop out different parts of that design so that it can cover lots of different use cases. So they have their delivery variant, they have a base variant that's just trying to be like a standard, I want to say SUV, but that's really not what it looks like, just kind of a utility vehicle, and then they even have an adventure package with more seating, and that one's made to go more off-road and go camping and that kind of thing. And of course, they want to be able to ramp up and have lots of different versions of this one vehicle, and I think having that footprint that is very iconic and very recognizable could allow them in the future, if they can bring this to market and they can ramp up production, allow them to easily have varying models, which is something that Tesla and Rivian kind of struggle with as new EV makers are trying to come up with designs that are best optimized. I think Canoo is trying to go for that jack of all trades, and maybe not so much of the master of any category, but I think prioritizing that affordability and simplifying their manufacturing is something that should be applauded and admired. And I guess my concern with this announcement is that it's just a publicity stunt for both Walmart and Canoo. Obviously, Canoo stock responded incredibly positively to the news, nearly doubling when the news article dropped, so there's definitely a lot of incentive for kind of good press to surround an EV startup like this. And of course, Walmart has shown interest in making more of their fleet electric. They reserved a bunch of Tesla semis, which I'm sure looks good for them, and now they're signing this contract with Canoo, but I'm not sure if that comes with an investment in the company, and I really hope Walmart is signing this contract with doing due diligence and seeing some kind of production numbers and realistic assembly lines that can be activated within the near-term future, Canoo is publicly stating they expect lifestyle vehicle production to start next quarter, so it's really only a couple of months away. So if they end up getting pushed back again another couple of quarters, I'm gonna be more concerned. But there's definitely been a lot of doubt surrounding Canoo, considering their limited cash on hand and the fact that they've delayed production so many times. It's yet to be seen whether or not this is going to be another EV startup that actually begins deliveries. So we've had Rivian, we've had Lucid, and maybe Canoo is next. As far as like promised timelines, it seems like they're pretty close, but I would love them to post more and disclose more about their production process and their assembly lines, because so far they love to just showcase the prototypes, and they say they're in the gamma stage of production, which is basically the vehicles you build right before you build your Delta models, which is production. And because they're very unique, and because they're not trying to be this luxury automaker with, you know, $100,000 electric vehicles, I have a lot of interest in them. I would just hate it if Walmart was just doing this to look good so they can say, hey, see, we care about the environment, we're buying 4,500 electric vehicles. And then if Canoo falls short because of lack of funding or lack of suppliers following through on their contracts, then Walmart can say, oh, okay, well, we signed the contract, but I guess the supplier didn't deliver. That's not our fault, that's on them. I would hate it if that ends up being the situation here, so I'm really hoping that these companies are seeing the inner workings of each other and realizing, yes, there is a ton of demand for Canoo's vehicles, and I hope Walmart is able to see that, yes, there is supply, and we will be able to take deliveries of these vehicles over the next couple years. What do you guys think of this Canoo contract, though? Do you think it's legit? Do you think after all these delays, production will actually start in the fourth quarter, or do you think this is gonna be another Trevor Milton type situation? All that speculation, feel free to let me know what you're thinking down below. Thank you to everyone on Patreon supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again, and have an excellent rest of your day.